Visual Designer is Tangora's easy-to-use point-and-click design tool, which has been made accessible in an improved edition in Tangora 5.1. In this video, I'll help those of you who are new to Visual Designer to get a handle on how and where you could use Visual Designer. I'm going to base this video around 3 typical design tasks where we'll put Visual Designer through its paces. Along the way, we'll learn about the different levels of design called site layouts, page layouts, and module layouts. We'll make changes to existing site and page layouts, and then we'll build our own module layout from scratch with the help of Tangora's new layout wizard. First, let me present the 3 tasks. Let's imagine that Frez, the fictional organic food company of our demo site, is sponsoring a major event, an apple festival. In conjunction with this event, I've been charged with the 3 following design tasks. First, I want to change the header graphic of my site, and I want this to apply to all pages. This change I will execute by modifying a site layout. Second, I want to add a logo graphic to my general content area of selected pages of my site. I'll make this change on a page layout. Third, I want to create a contact form specific to the Apple Festival. I have a contact form already at my disposal, but I'll need to make a page and give it a layout. So let's take each task in turn. First, let's change my header graphic. My colleague has already sent me a ready-to-use file, which is on my hard drive. What I'll need to do now is find the appropriate site layout. Under Design and Layout, in the Site Layout area under Layout Usage, I can see that there's several site layouts in use, and here I could find the appropriate site layout that I want to change. For now, let's find the site layout called Frez Normal Page under the Site Layouts area. I'll use Smart View to quickly get a hold of just the site layout I want to adjust, and then I'll double-click to open my site layout. I'll then take a hold of my header area. In this case, I can see that I'm utilizing a background image on a column, so I'll take Columns Formatting up here, and then I'll choose Background Image and select. Now, I could choose an image from my central image archive, but what I'll do now is choose to upload from my hard drive, making sure to categorize the image appropriately by choosing a category here. And voila! Now I'm ready to publish my changes. I'll hit the Publish button at the top, and the deed is done, as I can see by going and viewing my live site. The next challenge I have is adding a logo to my pages. And I want this logo to appear in the left-hand column here, but to the right of my page title. Now, I might be in doubt about just where amongst my design templates I should do this. Let's take a quick look to see how I determine where to make the change. First, let's take a look again at the site design. Here we can see that there's a main content area as represented by this chunk of dummy text. This placeholder represents the main content of a page, and the design of pages is determined by page layouts. So what I could do here is I could determine which page layout I want to change by going into my page hierarchy and right-clicking on a given page and choosing Properties. Here, for my stores page for example, I can see that I have a layout called Frez 2 columns with the keywords News in Season. So then, armed with this information, I could go back to the Design Layout area of my Page Layouts area and then use Smart View to find just that page layout which I want to adjust. Just as with our header image change, it is possible that you want to execute a change like this on several page layouts in use. On that count, I have an overview of how many times a given page layout has been used here, and I could even get a listing of the specific pages by clicking on the Usage button up here at the top. For now, I'll double-click on the appropriate page layout, and then I'll open the Visual Designer layout by choosing Edit Layout. So I want to insert my logo image, and I'll just hit Insert Image, and then I'll find the Apple Festival logo here with help from Smart View. I could just use the arrow keys on my keyboard to position the logo just where I want it. Now I want the logo to float up here in the upper right-hand corner of my center column or my left column. So I'll choose Wrap Right, and then I'll also give a margin here under Margin Normal, just to ensure that we have a little bit of air around the logo so it doesn't look cluttered. Then all I have to do is save, and my change has been executed, as I can see on my front end. The last task is to create a design for a contact form page. I've already created a form page here based on an existing contact form. Now what I'm going to do is in the Page's Settings, I'll hit Edit Layout. And what you'll notice here is that I'm met by a wizard. The 3 steps: I have to choose which fields I want to display, then in what order they should be displayed, and finally, I'll choose how I want the layout to look. I'll just choose a few of the available options here using the Control key on my keyboard to select several choices which aren't right next to each other, and then I'll hit Next. And then I'll choose the order by dragging and dropping and hit Next. And finally, I need to choose a layout which I want to use. I'll choose Labels in Front and then hit Exit. And as you can see, my layout is now taken care of. I can now make any number of adjustments to my layout if I'd like to, or I could even run the wizard again by choosing the Tangora button and wizard. Otherwise, I could just hit the Save button and we'll see that my design is now published on my live site. So now we've seen Visual Designer in action in conjunction with work on a site layout, a page layout, and a module layout. There's certainly more to learn, but I hope this video has given you an initial indication of how and where you can use Visual Designer and how easy and intuitive the tool is to use. With Visual Designer, you have the control over the design and layout of your site, and I hope you've been inspired to roll up your sleeves and give it a try. Thank you for watching.